Welcome to This Explainer. We're living in this era of just unbelievable technological advancement, right? I mean, the phones in our pockets literally have more computing power than the machines that sent us to the moon. But despite all this external processing power, our internal wiring, how we process stress, handle adversity, and keep our focus, man, it often feels like it's running on glitchy, outdated software. So, what if I told you the most vital software update for your mind wasn't built in Silicon Valley, but in a military tent, almost 2,000 years ago, by a Roman emperor? Today, we're decoding Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, and we aren't looking at it as some dusty piece of ancient history, but as an urgent, highly practical mental operating system for the digital age. It's kinda the ultimate modern paradox, isn't it? We obsessively download the latest patches, we upgrade our hardware every year, and we are constantly optimizing our workflows. But we almost completely ignore the mental operating system that actually directs our attention and manages our reactions. We're trying to process this hyperspeed digital chaos using fragile, unoptimized internal logic. Okay, let's dive into this, because to fix this imbalance, we really need to go back to the source code of human resilience. And here is the foundational line of code for this entire system. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Take a second to let that really sink in. In a world where we're constantly bombarded by things we absolutely cannot control, breaking news, viral outrage, sudden market shifts, this principle is your ultimate anchor. True strength isn't about controlling the digital weather, it's about making your internal systems weatherproof. To get there, let's look at our roadmap. We'll be unpacking this mental OS architecture in 5 stages. 1. Master internal algorithms. 2. Reframe failures. 3. Build the inner citadel. 4. The long view. And 5. Upgrading resilience. Let's see how this all builds together. Starting with pillar number 1, mastering your internal algorithms. This is all about the Stoic concept of the dichotomy of control. Before you can process external data effectively, you've got to establish a rigorous sorting mechanism in your own head. Think about our hyper-connected lives. We face endless external variables, social media algorithms, market shifts, the outrage of the day. You have zero control over these. Zero. But then look at the internal variables, your logic, your emotional reactions, your deeply focused attention. This is your domain. Aurelius taught that mental bandwidth is finite. So every ounce of energy you spend stressing out about those uncontrollable external factors, that's energy stolen from optimizing your internal focus. By rigidly separating these two, you instantly reclaim your processing power. But hey, even with the best internal algorithm, bugs happen. Things crash. That brings us to section 2, reframing system failures. How do we handle inevitable disruptions, professional obstacles, or unexpected setbacks without our entire mental system crashing? Well, the Stoics had a brilliant patch for this, amor fati. It translates to a love of fate, the practice of welcoming all experiences, even severe adversities, as necessary and beneficial. Notice it doesn't just say tolerate fate, it says love it. Imagine you launch a startup and the product just totally fails, or an algorithm change completely tanks your business's web traffic. Instead of viewing this as a catastrophic system failure, Amor Fati challenges you to view it as vital diagnostic data. You welcome the bug because finding that bug is exactly what allows you to write better code for the future. So how do we actually execute that in the moment? Marcus Aurelius used a very specific 3-step mental process. Step 1, observe objectively. Just look at the raw data of the situation without spinning a narrative. Step 2, remove emotional judgment. A server crash isn't bad or unfair, it's just a server crash. And step 3, act on what's controllable. You pivot from frustration to resilient action. It's a highly efficient way to stop a downward emotional spiral right in its tracks. And this leads us to one of the most famous and honestly most powerful ideas in all of meditations. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. So the crucial point here is that obstacles are not roadblocks. They are simply new, unmapped pathways. In the tech world, we constantly see how severe constraints breed the most brilliant innovations, right? Well, Aurelius recognized this truth millennia ago. The adversity you are facing right now isn't preventing you from doing your work. It literally is your work. Now, to maintain this kind of objective clarity, you need a secure environment. That brings us to our 3rd pillar, building your inner citadel. We live in an era of constant pings, push notifications, and just overwhelming information overload. So how do we protect our mental bandwidth from this relentless barrage? You have to construct what Stoics refer to as the inner citadel. It's the impenetrable fortress of the mind, insulated from external chaos, noise, and distraction. Think of it as the ultimate mental firewall. It's a psychological safe room that you can retreat into at a moment's notice. When the digital world outside is absolutely screaming for your attention, the Citadel remains perfectly quiet. But cultivating the Citadel requires active daily maintenance. First, you've got to audit your digital inputs. Just as you wouldn't eat toxic food, you really shouldn't consume toxic data. Second, cultivate stillness amid notifications. Practice letting your phone buzz and simply choosing not to react immediately. Break that stimulus response loop. Finally, guard your attention fiercely. Your attention is arguably the most valuable commodity on the planet right now, so don't just give it away for free to every app that asks for it. Once you've secured your Citadel, you can start to zoom out a bit. This brings us to Section 4, the long view. Modern technology trains us to think in terms of seconds, minutes, and the relentless 24-hour news cycle. But a robust mental operating system requires us to expand our timeline drastically. And this brilliantly illustrates how these ancient principles map directly onto modern tech debates. Take the concept of memento mori, the reminder of our own transience. In the digital age, this translates to detaching from fleeting trends. The virality of today will be entirely forgotten tomorrow, so why let it agitate your mind? Second, the Stoics deeply believed in our duty to the common good, a concept called sympatheia. Today, this applies perfectly to building and using sustainable ethical technology. It reminds us we're part of a larger interconnected human ecosystem. We shouldn't just be optimizing for our own individual engagement metrics, but rather contributing positively to the health of the entire network. Which brings us to our final section, upgrading your mental resilience. We've talked about internal algorithms, reframing bugs, building firewalls, and zooming out to see the whole network. When you integrate these core Stoic ideas, you aren't just reading philosophy. You are fundamentally rewriting the code of how you experience reality. Because the ultimate upgrade is self-discipline. Technology is going to continue to evolve at a breakneck pace. AI will advance, platforms are going to change, and the digital noise will only get louder. You simply cannot outpace the external world. True human resilience doesn't come from owning the fastest device. It relies entirely on the timeless discipline of your own mind. By mastering what you can control, embracing obstacles as opportunities, and guarding your attention, you become virtually uncrashable. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to consider. The next time your system feels overwhelmed, the next time a project fails, or the digital noise just becomes deafening, how will you apply this ancient discipline to your next modern adversity? The code has already been written for you by Marcus Aurelius. It's sitting right there, waiting. It's up to you to install it. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Keep analyzing, keep upgrading, and we'll see you next time.